Step one before you do anything with the suspension or lifting the car off the ground: parking brake. Pull that all the way up and tight. This is not going to allow it to move while it's on the jack or jack stand. I'm going to push down on this part and just kind of focus on this little portion. Number one, it's kind of off-centered, so I just want to push down on the strut and see what happens. Okay, it's obviously pretty beat up and pretty worn out. The inside is moving, and again, it's making an annoying noise as we drive down the road. So we're going to swap these out. Alright, next step, get the jack. And what I did was I grabbed a 2x4, put it right under the pinch well of the vehicle. And before I actually jack this car up and get the tire off the ground, I want to loosen up the lug nuts first that are behind this panel. This room's a little unique, and it has that cover on it where I'm going to use this little hex 3-way tool to undo all those. And behind there, the lug nuts, loosen those up before you get the tire off the ground. By doing that, it'll alleviate you yanking real hard when the car's on the jack and increasing the possibility of the car actually falling off the jack, and that is not what you want. Alright, got that little panel off. Now you see the 5 lug nuts. Yours could be different, but again, loosen them up so you're not tugging away once the tire's off the ground. Okay, now that I have the tire off, right under here, you've got a couple things you want to take off. This little plastic clip here is your anti-lock brake system sensor or clip. You want to pop that off. Right up here, you have a bolt that holds your brake line on. You want to disconnect that. Over here, you've got your sway bar link or your stabilizer link. There's a bolt right here. You want to disconnect that or pull that off. There's also one down below, however, keep that one on. You don't need to actually take that bottom bolt off. Again, just up here. What I recommend is spray all these bolts with some penetration spray and let it sit for a while, and that'll hopefully help the bolts come off quicker. Final 2 bolts for this portion down here are these 2 big 22mm bolts, and they might be a bear to get off, but just kind of work at it. Hopefully you have an air impact wrench. And one thing I also want to mention is this part right here, it's going to drop and sag down once you take off these 22mm bolts right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the old jack or a couple 2x4s if you don't have a jack, and you're just going to rest them right here so this doesn't just fall and hit the ground. Used a 12mm deep socket for the brake line. And a 14mm deep socket for the stabilizer or sway bar link bolt. And if any of these give you trouble, you also have the option of the air impact wrench, because when you spin this, the whole interior portion of it's going to spin. So what I would recommend, grab yourself an impact wrench and impact sockets, and again it's a 14mm, so we will just pop that right off. Okay, and there's the car jack and a quick little board just for extra height, and I'll give you an easier in and out of the sway bar link. You just pull that out and pull that to the side, okay, just like that, next to these 2 22mm. Alright, after those 22mm bolts come off, you just pop those out, just pull those right out. This is a good time to, again, verify that you have jacked up and supported this wheel and rim and or rotor. And by doing that, it's also going to help you pop out these bolts a little easier. Alright, got those 22mm bolts out, and pop the hood, come up top, and you got three 14mm bolts here. We'll get those off. Alright, those three bolts will come out, and you just kind of weasel it out. I've got the whole unit out now, if you can see. There's the new one on the left and the old one on the right. I want to point something out real quick. $219.99. So these are the original Struts. So gotta hand it to Toyota for a car in Michigan from 1999 until 2015. Right now, when I'm changing that, these have gone the distance, and hopefully these will as well. Alright, this part can be tricky but fun. Just kind of weaseling it up through the hole that it came out, and you just want to verify you put it in the proper position. Again, these mounting holes for the bolts where this will go in. Be very careful with this area and this sensor and wire cable. You don't want to burn that. Okay, go up top and push it through these holes, and basically just hand tighten these, and you get it in position here where you can put the column back into the slots and get those 22mm bolts in. But again, be careful. Alright, get those 22mm bolts in, get them pretty tight, and here's your brake line again. And one thing I forgot to point out earlier, see a little hook right there? This is that line for your anti-lock brake system. So what I want to show you, that little hook will go right under there, okay, like so, okay, and then this will go there, and you put on that bolt. Alright, got that bolt tightened up, and next part is the anti-lock brake. And I want to show you those little holes right there, or prongs. You're just going to take that and pop them right in there. Just like that. Okay, just verify it's on there firm. Good to go. Next thing is the stabilizer link. Go ahead and tighten that bolt down. And one thing I want to point out that I forgot to point out earlier, the inner portion of this is a hex, and what you can do to, there is no connection for a wrench back behind that, so I just want to correct myself on that. Go ahead and tighten that one down. Once you get everything tight below, just double check everything. Again, you got two bolts here, you got the sensor, you got the bolt for the brake line, and the cable here. You get your sway bar link or stabilizer link bolt, and just make sure it's up in there properly and nothing has been harmed. Now it's time to pop up top and go ahead and finish tightening down these bolts up top. Once you verify everything is secure, you can go ahead and remove that bottom jack, and now it's time to put the tire back on. Alright, once the tire's back on, very slowly and carefully release that jack and allow the strut to compress. Alright, got the tire and car off the jack. The very last step, sorry it's starting to rain on me, but the very last step is give these three bolts another tighten, and just make sure they're firm. And guys, I sure hope this helped. If you liked the video and it helped, subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. And if you could, like the video as well. And if you want to support the channel, that'd be awesome too. We'll keep the videos coming. What I would recommend, and every shop and mechanic would recommend as well. If you're going to change one strut, it's best if you change them both, and once you do both struts, it's highly recommended to get out and get an alignment done. So again, hope it helped. Alright guys, I'm all done and I just beat. Alright, so had fun doing it. Like I said, it's an easy do-it-yourself. You just want to make sure you got the proper tools and maybe a better weather day, maybe like a clear sky, sunny, unlike what I did, but hey, we got it done. Enjoy.